The one thing I do every single year is I update my list of aspirations. I even host a podcast show that shares my top 5 aspirations. I guess I should say where I share my top 5 aspirations, but we're not going to get into all the logistics of the English language. But every year I update my list because something on the list has been accomplished, which means technically I should probably add one more thing back to the list so that it's never empty. I never actually reach every single aspiration or dream. And this is where I come to each of you, because I believe that goals, although they are nice, I'm not so sure that goals serve us the way that a list of aspirations serve us, a list of dreams. I don't believe they do. We're going to find out because we are going to talk about that today. Welcome to Ladies Listen Up. I am your host, Gwendolyn, G.R. Houston Jack. Now, I just happen to be sitting on my settee, and this is actually what I use when I'm working with my photography clients. It's a great one for families. The babies love it because they love the little tufted sections. But it also, at times, without my knowledge, I don't do it on purpose, but it becomes the sort of confessional area where people are so comfortable in this moment of having their portrait created that they just start sharing everything. I have that effect on people. I don't know if you guys have noticed. This seat has heard a number of dreams, a number of aspirations, a plethora of free-flowing, genuine conversations. So I thought it's fitting that we have this conversation right here on set. It makes sense to me. Now, I was discussing why I believe that aspirations are the way to go versus a goal. I like goals. I really do. I like goals. However, I have found over time that goals just have this very definite stop. Like you work towards them and then you get it. Could you redefine the goal, get a new goal? Yes. But it's very rigid in terms of thought and creativity, in my opinion. If you're a goal person, don't hate me. But hear me out before you go shutting me down. Remember as a kid when you would wish about life as an adult? I can't wait until I'm older. I wish I was older. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Remember that? Now it was never really me. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I had the idea of being a kid forever because there's nothing here now but bills and stress and foolishness. I look at my grandson, my granddaughter, my great niece and nephews, and I'm like, these kids got it made. They get to go out for a little day, do a little plating, learning a number here and two and letters and whatnot. And then they come home. Someone cooks for them, cleans for them, tends to their every need. Who would want to give that life up? I want to be a kid forever. That was my dream. Now, people will tell you you can't be a child forever. but they're wrong. You can have a child's creativity and the dreaming skills. It's how you stay young at heart. That comes from dreaming. Something happened between being a kid to getting to an adult that we lose. We lose all the tools to dream, to be creative. We lose it. We start telling ourselves, you know where I'm going with this. We start believing the lies that we were told, that we're not creative, that you can't do this, that you weren't designed for that, that that's not in your DNA, that this is beyond you. We start believing that BS, and we stop dreaming. And we consciously decide to let go of our dreams. We let go of our natural, creative wants. We let it go. And we commit to working and building the dreams of someone else. Now, yes, I am talking about the 9 to 5, although it's more like everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur. I am not saying that. So hear me clearly. However, everybody has a dream inside them that is waiting to be nurtured, watered, fed so that it can grow. Everybody has that until it's beat out of them. And nothing against our educational system. I come from a public education, but I also recognize that for all the talk of being an individual and knowing your voice, there is this consistent message for you to fall in line. Don't color outside the lines. Don't do this. Don't do that. And so by the time you're a young adult, you're lucky if you can remember how to be an individual or have any glimpse of it. You're lucky. So I want to talk to you, ladies, about your time, dreams, and aspirations. Let's get back to it, shall we? Because we were talking about how a lot of us are ultra committed to growing someone else's dreams. Somebody created a business, right? You need a job, okay? And so you decide to dedicate 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years to someone else's dream. And at any point that things aren't working well, this person can tell you, I no longer want you to help me build this dream. What happens, right? What happens? Where do we go from there? Some of us are at a loss because all we know, all we were trained to do was to help build someone else's business, to help fund, craft someone else's dream. I am not knocking it because I gave 25 years. And I loved my job, so I had a great career. But in the midst of giving my 25 years, I knew when I was, how many years in? Maybe 15 years in, maybe before 15 years in. I knew that I needed to start thinking about my next career move. And that next move was not going to be for somebody else. I had this feeling. I started with the company in 1996. Let's get the calculator, shall we? Not that I can't do the math in my head. I'm that old. But I'm not doing it today. In 1996 is when I started. And in 2012, 16 years later, I said, Gwendolyn, you need to start crafting a plan for your dreams and your aspirations. Now check it. I did not adopt the idea of creating aspirations until about 2020. Okay? But I knew that I wanted to do my own thing in 2010. I made my own thing legal in 2012. But the sole purpose of when I step away from here, I am going here. That was the plan. That was always the plan. Our time is finite. You know? You only get so much of it, and then it's done, you're done. And when I look at people and they talk about how they've given 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 years of their life to building someone else's empire, it makes you think how this system was set up. This system was not set up to create a gaggle of free thinkers. It wasn't. It wasn't. I believe it was always set up for some people to be at the top and the others to serve. Call it what you want. But let's talk about you and where we are. And let's talk about why I say that having a list of aspirations is where you want to go. So as I mentioned, in 2020, I was attending a leadership exercises workshop. It was complimentary, so it was free. And there was an exercise where we had to write down at least 50 aspirations. Now you're thinking, that's nothing. Man, I believe I got to 15 before I said, what else? And here's the big part of this exercise that I believe most of us picked up on, is that we were so wrapped up in ultra reality. We had stopped dreaming. We just said, well, I'll never do that, and this will never happen, and that'll never happen, so I'm not going to add it. She said, I don't want you to think about what really could happen. That's not the focus of this exercise. The exercise is for you to look in your heart and say, if there is anything I could do, what would I do? I thought, oh my gosh. Like, you really have to dig deep into the crevices of your mind to remind yourself of what it felt like to dream, of what it feels like to put your time and attention into just what you want to do. So I got to writing. I was like, I want to interview RuPaul, and I would love to interview Michelle Obama and Oprah, and then I want to drive a race car on a NASCAR track, and I want, like, the sky was not the limit. It was whatever you would love to do. Put it on the list. Put it on the list. Don't even think about it. Now, Prince had already died, so I was like, well, I guess I can't put that down because that would have been great. But it hadn't been earlier. I would have said, hey, I would have loved to have played in a band with Prince. That was a dream at one point. It's why I started taking guitar lessons, and I quickly dropped him after he passed away. Don't judge me. I said, well, that's not going to happen, so I guess I'm done. Although I did kind of still keep taking my lessons, but whatever. But I went there too. I was like, okay, well, I never finished playing guitar. Maybe I should review what other instruments I want to play. Maybe do like piano lessons. Maybe do the tambourine. Maybe I want to travel here, travel there, like all these ideas. And I got energized. Because when I looked at it now, I finally got to like 25. If I look at my list today, hold on. Because I keep my list in my phone. I keep it in my phone. Because, you know, I mean, who doesn't want to keep their aspirations nearby? Like, isn't that what you guys do? They're like, no, Gwendolyn, we do not. That's why this is part of the conversation that you're having with us. So I redid my aspirations in 2023 because I had gone through some things, as in I had completed some of these aspirations. And so as I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh, look at that. You know, some of these things have already happened, hence I keep taking them off and redoing them. So I no longer have 50. I'm back to 21 again. I gotta put some more dreams on my lists. I gotta add some more. But they're really cool. Like, I shouldn't say wanted to, because this is still present. So I want to host a summit for young women who want to build self-confidence. I want to write an article for Entrepreneur magazine. Yes, I am holding this out here like this because I ain't got my readers on. Let me put my readers on. I'm not going to be sitting here fronting for you guys. I want to participate in a photography exhibition in New York City. I want to interview Diane von Furstenberg. I want to have a photo on the PPA magazine cover. I want to write a book. I'm writing a book right now. I want to interview Kareem Rashid. Like, it goes on. Here's what's funny about this is that as I'm looking at these aspirations and reviewing them every year, I realize I've been working towards a number of them, unbeknownst to me. When you write stuff down, there's a minor moment of commitment there. Because now you're saying, I want to do that. And because you've written it down, it's solidified. It's becoming real. You have now put out into the universe that you want to write this book. And all of a sudden, you meet people and you see workshops about writing a book, self-publishing your book, how to do XYZ with your book. That's not coincidence. It's not. It's not. Taking the time to sit down and dream about what you want to do. Life-changing. Now, we've been talking about change. We've been discussing all the multiple ways of doing the work. But this is where we want to get to the heart of who you are. There's got to be a conversation in there where we talk about your dreams and aspirations. And this is not that, well, I want to be a better person. I want to do blah, blah, blah. This is when you get up in the morning, what gets you out of the bed? What would make your heart sing? What art, what song, what dish, what glass of wine represents you? Who are you? Now, we've talked about who you are some time ago. Just digging deeper into those dreams and aspirations. And sometimes for some of us, we are still in the, I don't want to tell anybody what I'm doing because they're going to steal my idea. If you know me at all, from anything you've ever seen me create or produce, you know that no one can steal your blessing. You can't steal it. A young man did tell me that people can't block it. But see, I don't believe that people can even block your blessings. I don't believe that either. I believe that we can find people who are not for us. And those people will attempt to lead us astray because they themselves feel some kind of way. Not as confident, not as secure, fearful of going out for their dreams. And so if they can't reach theirs, I'll be damned if you reach yours. So I am going to lead you astray. But can they block a blessing? I say no. I don't believe that. You know, we talk about finding the right company. We'll have to talk about that some more. But what is yours is yours. So even if, let's say we take the idea that someone is blocking your blessing, what's yours is yours. It may now take you more time to get to that destination, but it's still waiting there for you. It's still there. It's still yours. It's still waiting there for you. I believe everything arrives on time as it's supposed to. There were ideas I had before that I didn't pull, I hate to say pull the trigger, but that I did not begin because I wasn't ready. Gwendolyn wasn't ready mentally, emotionally, physically. I wasn't ready. And I don't like to do things halfway. I'm in or I'm not. But I wasn't ready. And so, yes, there may have been some opportunities that came and we let them go that way. But I always say, well, those really weren't mine anyway. I've lost nothing. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the time and the moment and the place that I'm supposed to be in. That's how I see it. People cannot take what is destined for you. It's already written. You need to get there, right? Like, get yourself together to get there. When you are ready, you'll get there. So let's talk about doing a little work, shall we? Okay, here we are. We were just discussing how people cannot take your blessing. They can lead you astray. Some folks may say block, but you know. Here's the work. This is very simple work too. Get you a notebook, get a piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. But I am going to share the same exercise that was shared with me. Write down 50 dreams or aspirations. 50. Write down 50. You're going to find yourself struggling, I'm just saying. Because this exercise forces you to really get back to who you were before the world stepped in and kind of stole most of your joy. You have said to yourself, okay, if I could do anything, what would I do? Do I want to bungee jump? Do I want to run the New York City Marathon? Do I want to sing on stage at the Apollo just one time? Do I want to write it all down? But here's the second part that she didn't give to us, but I'm going to give to you. Write down the people who would be in your corner rooting you on. you're going to need a safe circle. You're going to need a supportive circle of people to get through this. You're going to need that. Because, again, they may not block your blessing, but they can lead you astray. People who are negative, who are too afraid to put their foot out into the water and try something new, will dissuade you from you trying something new. Because if I have to be back here, and if I have to be miserable, damn it, you have to be miserable too. How dare you attempt to live your life to the fullest? How dare you? Now, some folks are not as bold with their words. Some people. This is where you say to yourself, okay, who do I have who is supportive of my dreams today? They've shown up, they've rah-rahed, they've done all the things. Who are those people? Write them down. And then maybe the 2 or 3 of you decide that moving forward, we're going to get together and just chat about how do we meet these goals. I have girlfriends that I talk to all the time, and I share my aspirations and dreams with them. They're like, gee, you're doing what? You're doing what? Yes. There is never the, oh, you're doing that again? Oh, you're trying that? I have people who are genuinely happy for me, show up for me, and want to see me succeed. I am blessed. And I am certain you have those folks in your circle too, somewhere. You got to find them. You're going to need them. If you take nothing else from this conversation, know this. Your time is precious. Where do you want to spend it? Now, do we have bills to pay? Yes, we do. We have bills to pay. But perhaps if you're at a job that doesn't make your heart sing, you could go some other place. Maybe you can work at a bakery. Maybe sure I add that Y. And it will allow you to start living the cake boss life you want to live. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But you're never going to find out if you don't get out there and try. And I am aware that I have used the word try. I'm being gracious right now. But whatever you do, I will say this. Make sure you give yourself the space and grace to grow and learn. I'll see you in the next one.